If you click this video, you're probably struggling to grow your legs, and I'm here to tell you it's probably not because of genetics. I'm Nick Kaufman. I have 10 plus years of training experience. I'm a former NCAA college football player. I studied neuroscience and psychology in college and every STEM course that you can think of, including bio, chem, physics, and all the other STEM courses. I've also had 2 ACL surgeries, so I've had to regrow my legs 2 times after having crazy quad and hamstring atrophy. So I know what it's like to have small legs and grow them back. Also, growing up, my legs were a lot smaller than everybody else around me, as you can see in the pictures that I'm putting up. So I actually know what it's like to start off having smaller legs than everybody else and to grow big legs. If you're trying to grow big legs, this is definitely the video you want to watch because I'm going to break down the things that are probably holding you back. Most guys will blame genetics, their exercise selection, or the intensity, or they'll just say they're doing everything the right way, but they're not seeing any growth and they don't know the reason for it. And the reason is usually pretty simple. And it's your legs aren't receiving the attention or the volume that the rest of your body is receiving. Simply put, you can't expect to grow from one rush leg session every week when you're giving your upper body 3 to 4 sessions. Let's use examples here. So for example, 4-day bro split, where you train your upper body 3 days and you train your lower body only 1 day. If you're training your upper body 3 days, that's 75% of your training going to 50% of your body. Your upper body's 50% and your lower body's 50%. So the math doesn't really add up there. If you're giving your upper body 75% of your training and you're only giving your lower body 25% of your training, of course your legs are going to be lacking. Of course they're going to be behind because you're giving 50% of your body only 25% of your training. Guys love to divide up their upper body. They love to divide it up into chest and back, or biceps and triceps, or shoulders and arms, right? For the bro split, they'll do chest 1 day, back 1 day, and then shoulders and arms the other day. And then on that 4th day, they only do legs, right? But they're not dividing up their legs. Your legs have multiple muscles just like your upper body. Why aren't we dividing up the legs into quadriceps and hamstrings like we're dividing the arms into triceps and biceps? You see how the math doesn't really make sense there? The main takeaway from that is if you have 2 halves of your body, 50% each, and you're giving 1 half significantly more attention, of course that's the half that's going to grow more, and the half that you're not giving as much attention is not going to grow. So to combat this, what you need to do is start giving your legs more attention and training them with more volume. For me personally, I saw the most growth whenever I do 2 leg days a week. So if I'm doing 3 upper body days, there's got to be 2 lower body days. If I'm doing 4 days of training, there's got to be 2 upper body and 2 lower body. If I'm doing 6 days of training, then we'll go 4 upper body and 2 lower body. During my weekly training, I will have 2 days of leg work minimum. It's a non-negotiable for me. And that's simply because research shows the more attention you give something, the bigger and stronger it grows. And some dudes are like, how am I going to have 2 leg days? There's not enough things for me to do. I can only go in there and do squats and then do leg extensions and leg curls. I don't want to do that twice a week. But that's the thing. When you're only thinking about your leg as an entire muscle, you're not splitting it up the correct way. You need to split your legs up into the muscle groups that there are. You have an anterior chain and a posterior chain, or you can split it up more simply, right? You have your quadriceps and your hamstrings. Quadriceps are in the front, hamstrings are in the back. Anterior chain is the front, posterior chain is the back. And when you're splitting up your leg days, you need to be prioritizing 3 mandatory patterns in every single leg day. The patterns you need to be prioritizing are squat pattern or a squat movement, a hinge pattern or a hinge movement, and a unilateral pattern or a unilateral movement. And what unilateral means is single leg. For your squat pattern, the primary goal of that is to train your quads while also involving your glutes. So that's things like back squats, front squats, hack squats, pendulum squats, which my gym doesn't have. Wish I had one of those, but I've heard those are really great. So pendulum squats, leg presses, or Smith machine squats. And for this, you want to choose a version that allows you to safely load your legs, obviously, because we want the form to be efficient while feeling like you're still working your legs, right? If you're not scared of the Smith machine, you can hop on there because that's very good for stability. But I know myself, when I was a younger lifter, I kind of shied away from that because I like more of the free weights and stuff. But, you know, machines are also very great for exercises because they provide that extra level of stability. For the hinge pattern, the primary goal of this is to emphasize your hamstring and your glutes. So for example, we can do things like barbell RDL, dumbbell RDL, Smith machine RDL, cable RDL. Yes, there's a million different ways to do an RDL. Just ask your girlfriend. She'll tell you. Good mornings, conventional deadlifts. All of those are hinging patterns where we're hinging at the waist to put emphasis on our hamstrings and our glutes. We want a leg day that's just not entirely built around the squat patterns, because the squats really emphasize that anterior chain, our quads, while the hinging patterns really emphasize our hamstrings or our posterior. The third movement pattern that you need to have on your leg days is a unilateral pattern. So this is a single leg pattern. And what this does is it works each side independently, and it exposes your imbalances. If your right leg is stronger than your left leg, then on the squat, you may not notice it, or on the RDL, you may not notice it. But when you're doing, a Bulgarian split squat, or a walking lunge, or a reverse lunge, or a step up, or a single leg press, you'll notice the difference in the weight. You'll say, I can only do a 50 on the right leg, but with my left leg, I'm able to go up to 60s and 70s. And that shows you where the imbalances are, so you can focus on that. When you're able to find the imbalances, you're able to focus and correct them so that, your legs are more even, because you don't want to have a huge right leg and a teeny tiny little left leg, right? You also don't want to leave this unilateral work until the end when you're super exhausted, because that can be, a little bit dangerous, right? When you're training just unilateral, you might want to get these done earlier in your workout, so you're placing that imbalance as a priority. And I'll use my own leg day for example of what I do. And I just want to put it out there. I've had 2 knee surgeries. I've had 2 ACL surgeries. I don't know if you can see the scars on my leg, but I've had 2 ACL surgeries, and I've rebuilt my legs both times from those ACL surgeries. I've been able to squat over 400 pounds. I've been able to RDL over 300 pounds. So I have been in a situation where my legs were completely cooked and I rebuilt them from ground zero. So for myself, the leg day that I'm running right now on Mondays, because I like to start off my week with leg days, starting off on the right foot. What I start off with is lying hamstring curls to warm up my hamstrings. And I do these single legs. So that's one unilateral movement right out of the way. Then I go into front squats. That's my movement pattern. Then I go to barbell RDLs. That's my hinge pattern. Then I go to single leg press, which is another unilateral movement, but it emphasizes the quad. And then again, I also do a single leg extension, which also emphasizes the quad. The reason I emphasize my quad so much is because during my second ACL surgery, which was my most recent one, I had in December of 2024. So basically January 2025 last year, I got a quad tendon graft. So basically they took a small part of my quadricep and placed it into my ACL and replaced my anterior cruciate ligament with my quad. So that's why I'm still focusing so much on rebuilding my quad, because my left quad is still actually significantly smaller than my right quad. I don't know if you can see, but you can slightly see the atrophy. And I'll put a picture up there that shows my leg like right after I had the surgery, or even like when I first tore my ACL the second time, and you can clearly see that. But yeah, and so after I finish up with the single leg extensions of the quad emphasis, I move into something that most guys skip, and those are the abductor and adductor machines. I target my adductors and abductors on my heavy leg day, because that's what really gives your leg the width. That's what really gives your leg the size. Most guys are like scared of those machines. I'll put a picture of the machine I'm talking about, but your girlfriend loves that machine. And that's why her legs are bigger than yours, bro, because she does the abductor machine. When you're looking at someone's legs, again, what I talked about in the start of the video was anterior chain and posterior chain, but I didn't talk about the lateral portion or the medial portion of your legs. And that's where the abductor and adductor come in. Those are the muscles on the sides of your legs, which when you're looking at someone from the front view anteriorly or from the back view posteriorly, that's what gives your leg that width. And again, that's why your girlfriend can probably squash a watermelon. But, when it comes to the weights, you may be able to barbell squat a little bit more than her. But again, her legs are probably bigger than yours because she doesn't skip her adductors and abductors, bro. So you should definitely throw that into your workout. Another thing that a lot of guys skip is calves. I'm looking at you, bro. You be skipping calves, bro. Why? Like, why do you skip calves? Those are so fundamental, dude. And the thing about calves is you have to train them a lot because calves are one of the muscles we use the most. When you're just like lifting up on your toes, that's your calves. So theoretically, right, you don't always use your arms. You're not always using your chest. But every time you're walking, you're using your calves. You're using your gastrocnemius and your soleus. So you have to train those with heavy weight intensely as much as you can. Honestly, you should train them on both of your leg days. For the adductors and abductors, you can pick one of the leg days to train them. But again, I train calves on both of those leg days because again, you use your calves so much. When you're training your calves, you should always train them in a lengthened position. So you should do a standing calf raise or a leg press calf raise with your leg fully extended as opposed to the seated calf machine. Because actually a 12-week study found that standing calf raises produce substantially more gastrocnemius growth than seated calf raises. There wasn't a significant amount of difference in terms of your soleus, but for the gastrocnemius, you do see a bigger amount of growth. That's why a lot of people in the fitness industry say you should do your calf raises lengthened. So that means standing up or on the leg press, not on the seated leg machine. And I'm going to put the link to that study in the description. So if you want to click that study and read it, go ahead. The main point of why your legs aren't growing is you're not giving them enough attention. You're not giving them enough time. You're not giving them enough volume. So when you're able to do that, I promise that you'll start to see more growth with your legs. When you're giving your legs the same attention that you give your biceps and your triceps and your chest and your back, that's when you're actually going to see the leg growth that you want. So before you blame your genetics for having small legs, take an honest look at yourself and take an honest look at how you're dividing your training. If you're spending 3 to 4 days training chest, back, shoulders, arms, you're trying to squeeze quads, hamstrings, glutes, abductors, adductors, and calves all into one workout, then it makes perfect sense why your legs aren't growing, dude. You're rushing the process and not giving them enough time and attention. You need to be training your legs twice a week, and you want to build your workouts around those 3 movement patterns. Build your workouts around a squat, a hinge, and a unilateral, aka a single leg movement. Stop skipping your abductors and adductors and your calves because again, abductors and adductors are what make you have the width. That's what makes you have the size when people are looking at you front on or from the back. Yeah, your girlfriend knows. And then track your performance, right? Track your work so that you're progressing. I have a video on progressive overload. I'll put the link to that. But you know, you always want to be incorporating progressive overload with all your training. It should be a non-negotiable with all your training if you're actually trying to grow muscles, grow size, and get bigger. Now, the movement patterns that I talked about give you a very strong foundation, but the exact volume, exercise, sets, repetition, and emphasis does not look the same for everybody, and it should not look the same for everybody. My own program includes a lot of unilateral quad work, and that's because, again, I recently, in the past 2 years, had quad surgery and had a 9 to 12 month recovery trying to regrow my quad back because of my ACL quad graft tendon surgery. Your program should be built specifically around your body, your weak points, your injury history, your schedule, your physique that you're trying to build, not what I'm trying to build. And so I want you guys to be honest with me. Are you currently training your legs once a week or twice a week? If you're training your leg once a week, comment once in the comment section. And if you're training your leg twice a week, comment twice in the comment section. There's no judgment for either. I'm just trying to get an idea of how much you guys are actually training your legs. And after watching this video, if it made you realize that you haven't been giving your legs enough attention, don't make the mistake of simply adding another random leg day and assuming that your problem is solved, because it probably won't be. Training legs twice per week only works when those workouts are programmed correctly. It only works when you're splitting up things so that you're maximizing your volume, you're maximizing your gain, and you're able to recover the right way. You still need to know how much volume you can recover from and how to divide the volume across both days. You need to know which muscles need more attention. Again, for me, it's my quads. My quads need more attention than my hamstrings do. For you, it may be vice versa. Maybe your hamstrings more attention than your quads, or maybe your calves need the most attention. For everyone, it's different. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Which muscles need more attention, which exercises fit your body and injury history, and how to progress with them over time. That's where a lot of guys stay stuck. They aren't lazy. They aren't afraid to train hard. They're just piecing together random workouts that they find on the internet, that they find on Instagram, random PDFs that their friends sent them, and they're not using routines that are specific to them. They're using routines without knowing whether any of it actually is designed for their body and for their goals to succeed with. You don't need another workout program saved on your phone, bro. I promise you, you've probably got enough. You need a complete system that tells you exactly what to do. And a coach who has a system and knows when your structure needs to change so that you can continue to see growth. Because there will be times where your growth stalls, there will be plateaus, and you need a coach who's able to get you out of those holes so that your progress can continue to keep going. That's exactly what I provide with my one-on-one coaching. I build your training and your nutrition around your current body, your schedule, your lifestyle, your experience, your injury history, and the specific areas that you need to improve. Then I track your progress while holding you accountable the whole time and adjust your plan as your body starts to transform. Because when you're working with me, transformation will happen. You will start to see changes, and these changes are going to get you addicted to the process and make you want to continue to see growth, continue to see changes, continue to get better as an overall person, not only with your physique and in the gym, but with your mindset, with your confidence, and as an overall person. If you're serious about building bigger legs, or just developing a better, more muscular physique overall, don't waste your time guessing and trying random workouts that you're hoping will work for you, because they probably won't. Use the link in my description to book a free one-on-one consultation call with me personally. We'll talk about where you're at right now, what's holding you back, and what you need to do to take your fitness to that next level. If you enjoyed the video or took any value, please make sure to leave a like, comment, share it, and subscribe. Other than that, God bless you guys and peace out.